kuthi lukhetho isikhathi sekucala kuvota kuto tonke tindzawo ngu-7 ekuseni kudzimate kuvalwe nga-7 kusihlwa bese kucala kubalwa kwemavoti. Sive kule miphakathi siyakhuthazwa ukuthi siphumelele kulomsebenzi siphathe ticebhezana tekuvota nobe matisawe buve. Lo mlayeto ukhishwa ngusihlalo welibandla umphanenkosi Hlabuhlangene Dlamini.
It has just gone 8 o'clock Central African Time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. My name is Sanebo Ngongane alongside Zamanze Manze. Thank you so much indeed for choosing to stay with us. We are coming to you live from our Hospital Hill studios in Mbabane. Let's take a look at our top stories. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has implored the National Emergency Response Council on HIV and AIDS nature to sustain the gains made by the Kingdom of Eswatini on the fight against HIV and AIDS. Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku has had a dialogue with Dwalile pupils under the Mangongo constituency on eliminating all forms of violence against children. And the Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, has announced that government will, for this year, only subsidize farmers with 65% of the expected rate. And now the news in detail. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has implored the National Emergency Response Council on HIV and AIDS nature to sustain the gains made by the Kingdom of Eswatini on the fight against HIV and AIDS. The Prime Minister was speaking when meeting the new Nature Council members at Cabinet offices in Mbabane.
The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has had a meeting with the new council members of the National Emergency Response Council on HIV and AIDS nature. The Prime Minister applauded nature on the country's achievement as far as eliminating HIV and AIDS in the country is concerned. The Prime Minister also implored the Council to sustain the gains and strides made thus far in the elimination of HIV and AIDS.
I had very positive comments from Parliament the other day about nature. Let us not reverse those gains that were achieved through previous boards. Let us build on that and deliver an even more diverse service. The country is not just the cities. It is spread all over. I was very impressed when I attended the last ACE Day at Mhleni to see that it is a very, very broadly supported service.
Chairperson of the Council, Jabuliso Kwebu, says the Council is indeed committed on the elimination of AIDS in Eswatini.
Our key focus is to sustain the gains made thus far and continue to save thousands of lives through reducing new HIV infections and AIDS-related deaths. Today, the incoming council pledges its commitment to continue working hard in collaboration with the nature management and all key stakeholders in the multi-sectoral response to sustain the country vision of ending AIDS as a public threat.
Nature also reported a few months ago that in the United Nations Ending AIDS by 2030 target, the Kingdom of Eswatini is currently at 95, meaning that 95% of Emaswati know their HIV status, 98% of those who know their HIV status in Eswatini are on treatment, and 95% of those who are on treatment are virally suppressed. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkel Siwekoza, visuals from Nature.
The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini says the Temvelo Awards unite us as a country in a more bigger and sustainable way. The Prime Minister was speaking at Happy Valley Hotel during the Temvelo Awards, which was hosted by the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs.
The Temvelo Awards were started in 2011 and has since gained hype and momentum over the years. These are awards that recognize the different roles and sectors that have played a valuable role in conserving nature and the environment. These are awards under the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini says these awards are a project that allows people in the environment sector to measure themselves against one another while coming up with new ideas to conserve the environment. He was speaking at the Happy Valley Eswatini during this year's Temvelo Awards.
Temvelo Awards is a national project that gives us a chance at the end of each environmental year to get together and measure ourselves against one another and against our own selves. The Kingdom of Eswatini has ratified several conventions on environmental and climate change, and it subscribes to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The hosting of this project is a clear demonstration of government's commitment to promote a clean, safe, and healthy environment, as well as promoting environmental sustainability, showcasing best practices in the environmental space, and rewarding those that are making an effort in line with the above SDGs.
The Minister of Tourism, Moses Vilagati, says environmental issues are a global problem that every country needs to work hard on. He says Eswatini has experienced challenges in as far as environmental issues are concerned.
Umbuthana kwelo njengalo ngilapho sikhumbutana khona ukuthi kukhona lesingakwenda sikwendisise kuze kuthi netitukulwane tati ukuthi kwakukhona bobhuti bosisi bomake bobabe labe basicabangela ukuthi sibe nelikusasa sibe nathi tinkinga eveni kutotemvelo lesingabe sisabuyele emuva sekufuna sale sibuke embili ukuthi senda njani.
There were over 17 entrants and they were awarded accordingly. Eswatini was amongst the many winners of the night, joined by the Mbabane Town Council, St. Mark's High School, Ekuvinjelweni community, amongst other winners. Sifiso Nhlabazi of the Eswatini Observer won the best journalist who wrote about environmental issues and won himself a trophy and a smartphone. Amongst the attendees who spoke strongly on environmental issues was the UK ambassador to Eswatini, Simon Boyden, and the UNDP representative. The Prime Minister was also given a trophy for his role on environmental issues. Reporting, I am Kian Msibi at the Happy Valley, Eswatini.
The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku has had a dialogue with Dwalile pupils under the Mangongo constituency on eliminating all forms of violence against children. The pupils raised different views, including that corporal punishment should be brought back in schools.
The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku, his office, as well as other stakeholders, continue to dialogue with pupils on ways to eliminate any form of violence against minors. On Thursday, Masuku visited the 5th school, Dwalile High, where he talked to them about different forms of violence and abuse, which includes them being forced to boycott classes.
ngetinhloso takho langadati yena athi ngoba ingqondo yakhe ayikefiki kuleso sigaba leso bese uyamshuphisa uyamfuca uthake intindvo langeke akhona nekuyiphendula nasamdzala kubantu abakhe athi mina ngifundzanga ngoba ngashuca ngabuya ngafeyila ngoba nawushuphile lesikhathi losilahlile sekufundza angeke uphindze usikhanze.
Dwalile peoples share different opinions ranging from the pending of corporal punishment in schools among other issues.
Njengoba ibhola lishiswa kulamalanga i-government yayi-interest yawekile ukuthi avikele thina abafundi.
I-school committee simele batali kufanele-ke batali baphakamise ngokuthi thina kulesikole sakithi sifuna kubanjiswa kanje ehle uhulumende atobambisa.
Positive discipline mhlonishwa angiyiboni isisebenzela thina sibantu bemasai. Vele ungashawa kwethu kutasena uthi idebesele imfundo sigcine vele singayenzawo.
Le ndzaba loyishoko yokuthi sithe akusushaywa kunetinfo lesilive lesatingenela tindzaba tema-convention akamhlaba sakusayina-ke kwathiwa kunema-rights like that. Sakubuka sakunyantela basihlala emphinjeni bathi nakusayini.
Sicela kubuta kuwe program director kutsi ngabe singenta njani Nkosi yami ngoba naku nihlalise bothishela labanye emakhaya kuba ngalana siyasala asifunzi.
Lolo kushoko becomes my responsibility in that I coordinate all issues.
Kunako lokuthi uyahlukubeteka somehow maybe uhlukubetwa ngibaba wakho lo breadwinner lakhaya. So uyahamba ke uyompota nilela khaya sento usala na nondliwa ngibani ngoba kutothiwa ngazi ukuthi nguwe lo dade yonke lenyakanyaka lakhaya sekulanjiwe nguwe lo hamba waphapha wobika emaphoyiseni ukuthi uyahlukubeteka kani ngabe uvele wathula ngabe sichubekile safunza sa esikolweni njengoba kodwa uyibuye ubone emva kwesikhathi.
Sine okuqala sikhipha wena kuleli khaya. We have 41, 42 wema 42 wema child care facilities. Lasifike sithathe lo mntwana lo nalenkinga.
The Deputy Prime Minister advised people to stay away from drugs and their focus should solely be on studies. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla Maluta.
The Minister for Commerce, Industry and Trade, Manguba Khumalo, says with improved access to finance for cooperatives, the country can have an improved economy. The Minister was speaking during the launch of the Global Youth Cooperatives project supported by the German government.
The Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Manguba Khumalo, has officially launched the Global Youth Cooperatives project together with the National Cooperatives Federation of Eswatini, funded by the German government through the German Corporation and Renfansen Confederation, DGRV. The minister says the project will focus on the development of cooperatives in the Kingdom of Eswatini.
Access to small stock loans is very easy. The system where even on your phone you can get a quick loan to start a small business and you pay it back, and it keeps the economy going. It makes even the less privileged participate in the economy because the government has come up with a system where access to finance is not a big hurdle. Young people really should be given a priority and a preference because if we don't, their good ideas will go to waste. So that's really why I'm excited about this program because it will provide the platform that we need to change our fortunes as a country.
Head of Cooperation at the Embassy of German, Christian Grun, says the Kingdom of Eswatini will set an example of cooperation through this project.
We believe that Eswatini, it can really be a role model in the world to other countries, which is why the second launch we are seeing today as a global youth project has chosen Eswatini alongside Laos and Colombia as one of the really shining examples which can be very positive models and examples for other sectors and countries in the world.
President of the newly formed NCFE says the mandate of cooperatives is to help develop the country's economy.
We believe cooperatives are here to assist our government in the area of job creation and also in the area of wealth creation for our Eswatini. So we believe the NCFE is here to assist really practically on the grounds.
The president further assured the ministry that by 2024, the federation will have made a difference in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkelsiwe Koza Matsapa.
The Minister for Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mangcoba Khumalo, says the Kingdom of Eswatini needs to invest in the development of skills and entrepreneurship amongst the youth. The minister has been speaking during the graduation ceremony of the class of 2020 of the National Handicraft Training Center on Thursday.
The 2020 National Handcraft Training Center students has had their graduation on Thursday. Speaking when officiating at the graduation, the Minister for Commerce, Industry and Trade, Mangcoba Khumalo, says the country needs young people with competitive skills to develop.
Industry, skills. Noma ngabe soya kuphi sebayabuda ukuthi yini lokufundzele lokwenta ke ukuthi bantwana labaphuma la eNHTC babe namathuba langcono kunalabanye ukuthi bangaqasheka ngoba kusesikhathi baye bathi labalabaqashako the problem is not the young people who are unemployed, but sometimes the problem is young people who are not employable. But siyajabula lamhla ukuthi sitawubona abantwana besikolo labatawuphuma lapha and they will definitely be employable.
Taiwan ambassador to Eswatini, who was represented by Oliver Hahn, says the center has produced students with skills that are key to the country's development.
More than 1,000 students have graduated from these courses in the center, and most of them have been either employed or self-employed, and thereby contributing the national development of Eswatini.
Acting NHTC principal says the institution is committed into improving local skills amongst the youth.
Our instructors are determined in the business of developing the best human beings ever in the Kingdom of Eswatini. The best human beings on the planet are individuals who reflect and evaluate their behavior with a constant focus on how they can do better with their skills they have acquired from our institution. They apply the highest level of effort in whatever they do.
Graduates representative Sabelo Dube implored local companies to help them develop their skills further.
As graduates, we may humbly request organizations, companies to assist us as we go out there to face the real world.
The skills acquired by the graduates include sewing, metalwork, computer skills, as well as woodwork, amongst others. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkelsiwe Koza, Eswatini.
The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, has announced that the government will for this year provide farmers with 65% subsidiary of the expected rate. The minister has been speaking during a press conference on Thursday.
In preparation for the upcoming ploughing season, the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini through the Ministry of Agriculture announced that even this year, farmers will get input at subsidized rates. The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, says this year the government will contribute 65% of the subsidy input from the usual 50%.
The average projected cost for the packages is approximately 14,000 for maize per hectare, 12,000 for beans, and 7,000 for sorghum. These packages will cover an area equivalent to 1 hectare. The farmer is expected to contribute 35% and government will contribute the balance of 65%. It is important for farmers to note that this shall only apply to this current season. Next year, farmers are expected to contribute the normal 50% as it has been. Also, farmers can pay up to 3 hectares maximum compared to the 1 hectare maximum that was used in the past years. And as a result of the fuel price increase, the tractor hour will cost 300 from 270 that was paid by farmers last year.
The minister also announced that payment for the input subsidy starts on the 1st of August 2022 Closing of payment shall be done when the target has been reached or at the end of October 2022, whichever comes first. The minister says payment shall be done at the Eswatini Bank or at the Eswatini Post and Telecommunications. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samgal Siwekoza with Muslim Konta. Babane.
The Minister of Education, Lady Howard, says it is the ministry's responsibility to ensure proper sanitation and toilets in schools. She was speaking at Skombeni Primary School when officially opening a sanitary block worth 1.5 million in Malangeni, which was constructed by WaterAid.
The pit latrines at Sikombeni Primary School were now in a dilapidated state, which have become a health hazard for the learners. It is for that reason that one of the teachers in the school, seeing the situation and out of love for the learners, approached the WaterAid for assistance. WaterAid assessed the situation and has since built a 1.5 million worth of sanitary blocks, which has toilets and showers for girls who have started their menstrual cycle. The block was opened by the Minister of Education, Lady Howard, who was also taken through the different sections of the block, including the teachers' newly built toilets and a toilet to allow learners with disabilities to use theirs. The minister says it is the ministry's responsibility to ensure that schools have proper hygiene.
Primary School lo mthoyilo awuyuze kuyawumane kube kuyalungiswa nje lokho lokuphukile kuyalungiswa nje lokho lokuphukile sibonga kakhulu umhlanga kusiphekeletela endleleni yethu leya ku first world status.
The WaterAid Country Director Ncamiso Mhlanga says they are committed to supporting government's projects and programs each and every time.
Le sanitary block ke inaleli gumbi lokuthi nasebumqalile lo mfana wamqala ala sikolweni akakathwali itandla enhloko phiri athi mboneni bothishela abhekele akathi mboneni bothishela abhekalena kube khona lokhu lokungamsida lo mfana phindze lo mfana abe nale self confidence ukuthi nangibuyela kusasa esikolweni naloku ngitawusitakala angeke ngilove.
Ngomi Yahlaba, Member of Parliament, welcome Shongwe, pledged to buy tissue papers and sanitary towels for the girls. Kanzika lobongele bona-ke abafunzi kube nguSabusiswa Gininza. Sabusiswa Gininza Ailena thanked on behalf of the learners, while the head teacher also said they are grateful for this building.
Really appreciate what you have done for us. It is a first of its kind. Now as you go then our thank you.
Lo mdlela lesina ukuthi angathi ngingaphaza ukuthi wathi WaterAid la office wafika kwathlela lathi yalomkhulu sitawakhela umuntu ongasake sobonela kangwane.
Le nhlangano yaka WaterAid ise itawuchubeka nekubambisa isekele inhlelo tahulumende njalo njalo kanzike lesakhiwo sibide imali lesigidi na half semalangeni 1.5 million amalangeni. The learners were urged to take care of the block and strictly use the tissue papers and nothing else that will damage the structure. Reporting, I am Kian MCB at Sikombeni.
Eswatini Television Authority announces changes in its TV programs starting at 9 p.m. Thursday night, as the Eswatini TV will be broadcasting the Commonwealth Games. Eswatini TV's communications officer Nompumelelo Dlamini says for those with set-top boxes, a new channel will be added for them that will broadcast the games as they are 24 hours.
Eswatini TV viewers that have set-top boxes are in for a treat as a new channel will be added for them that will be broadcasting Commonwealth Games day and night. Eswatini TV Communications Officer Nompumelelo Dlamini elaborates.
Okay, this is just to inform our lovely viewers that as of tonight, there will be an interruption in our normal scheduling as we have the Commonwealth Games live from Birmingham, and some of which will be aired live, some of which we will also just get to catch up on them later on. We will have the games brought to us, some during the day and some during the night, but those that are luckiest are those that are using our set-top box known as a Skuchana, because for those they just have a channel where they get to catch the Commonwealth Games live as and when they happen, and that is channel number 4 on the set-top box.
The Commonwealth Games are expected to end on the 8th of August. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Muzi Mkonta Mbabane.
Right now, let's see how markets performed today in our financial report.
Standard Bank. It can be.
The Minister of Sports has revealed that the rehabilitation of the...
We apologize for that, Cleach. Welcome back. We are still watching the news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV. Right now, we shall take a look at news making headlines in the world of sports. The Minister of Sports, he says the Somplo National Stadium will soon be available for local activities following the completion of Phase 2 rehabilitation that includes the installation of both synthetic artificial turf and synthetic running track together with the media tribune, amongst other things. Now, the ministry says rehabilitation of Phase 3 will begin soon.
The Minister of Sports has revealed that the rehabilitation of the second phase at the Somplo National Stadium has been completed. During a press release by the Office of the Communications Officer in the Ministry, Mr. Sibongsen Zondi, the rehabilitation of the second phase included the installation of synthetic artificial turf, installation of synthetic running track, construction of a media tribune, amongst many things. Principal Secretary in the Ministry, Prince Mlayeto, who recently toured the stadium, mentioned that the Ministry was glad that the second phase that was certified by FIFA was completed, which now gives permission to stadium to host local activities. The Ministry concluded mentioning that the rehabilitation of the third phase will begin soon. The Phase 3 will include construction of a new modern wall fence with automated entry points and construction of a new sewer line. The rehabilitation of the stadium began back in 2018, which then included as well the installation of floodlights, amongst other things. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabisum Sonera, pictures sourced from the Ministry of Sports.
Well, with those sports news, we've reached the home stretch of the news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of our top stories tonight. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has implored the National Emergency Response Council on HIV and AIDS nature to sustain the gains made by the Kingdom of Eswatini on the fight against HIV and AIDS. Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku has had a dialogue with Dwalile pupils under the Mangongo constituency on eliminating all forms of violence against children. And the Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, has announced that government will, for this year, only subsidize farmers with 65% of the expected rate. Beautiful Kingdom of Eswatini, we've reached the conclusion of our news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. Thanks so much indeed for choosing to stay with us. We shall now cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the crew here at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.
Free shopping is back at Spar, where we're putting smiles on the faces of thousands of Spar Rewards customers when they win their shopping for free. Just shop any participating product